Hi guys, thought I'd make a short script that shows how to look at the HUD um, addresses that we have for shelters from the HUD data sets. And then we have our Los Angeles data set that had the opening dates, and we'll merge the two to find out which ones in the HUD data set for Los Angeles do we have opening dates. And then we can focus on searching for opening dates for the remaining shelters that, according to HUD, opened up between 2020 and 2024. So let's get to work. Here's the script, which is in the code base in the shared Google Drive. It's in the code section. It's called Script to Get All HUD New Housing Projects 2020 to 2024. And then we're also going to read in the Los Angeles. So first thing we'll do, I'll change this a little bit. So first thing we're going to do is read in the Los Angeles dates. The Los Angeles data set is created in this script in the code base, the scripts that reads in the shelters and encampments and geolocates. And we don't have to run that script. We already have the data set of the LA shelters created. So we're going to read that in. So it's in the data subfolder. We're going to do some cleaning of the addresses here. We'll do some cleaning of the dates here, not strictly necessary for what we're doing here. We have in our script when we do our 00, which I should run. Let me run my 00. Um, so 00 loads all the um, extra code scripts, and one of them is called the fix, where is it down here, right? The cleaning address utility that has a little function called fix full address. So you have to have that loaded in by running your 00 script first. So then let's go back to our script that we're working on. Here we are. So we're going to go ahead and read the data set in. And sorry, I have the bar here. So now we have the data set. We see that it's 119 observations. We have the full address here, but it's in sort of proper case. One of the things that the fixed full address will do is turn it into all lowercase, because that's the way standardized format will just turn everything into all lowercase. Then we're going to just get the street stem out of that. So we're going to drop Los Angeles CA as the format in this data set. So we're going to substitute Los Angeles CA with nothing in the full address and call that the street address. And then we're just going to collect the street address. We'll just have one variable, and we'll create a new variable called HUD list 0, because this is the Los Angeles list rather than the HUD list, and we'll drop the geometry. So let's run all this again. And now we have our LA shelters, and we see that it's just the full address, just the street address and the HUD list, and that's 0 for all of them. These are the ones that are coming from the LA shelters list, not from the HUD list. So now we'll go on and read in the HUD list. So the HUD list is created in this script that reads in shelters and encampments, and it creates the panel of HUD shelters from the California reports. And what we're going to do is take in this database, CBDF_Y, it's at the year level, because that's the HUD data set is at the year level. And what we're going to do here is we're going to group by the address, and then we're going to just take the first one in that address, and we're going to arrange it by year, so we'll have the earliest one. And then we're just going to keep 2000, and we're going to drop 2019. We only want the ones whose first year is 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24. We don't want the ones before that because we don't have opening dates for those ones and aren't going to get them. Our sample for now is being restricted to 2020 to 24. So we run this, and we see, okay, here's how many shelters, homeless places in the HUD data set open up 2020 to 2024 in the 7 cities that we have. And we see that Santa Clara only has a very few, only has 6 shelters in this data set. San Jose only has 20, 20 and 30, so it's 50, 60 shelters opening up. So in principle, it should be pretty easy to find most of these opening dates for San Jose, some for Santa Clara. Uh, Oakland only has 60, so if people take one of these, they should be able to find the opening dates for them. But let's continue with Los Angeles, where we don't want to find the opening dates of the ones that we already have opening dates for, and that's why we're doing this merge. Uh, we can filter to get Santa Clara, right? And if we run this for Santa Clara, then we have now, according to the HUD data set, the 6 observations for Santa Clara dates, right? And we see them here, and we notice right away that, oh, the HUD data set has two that are the same. The address here in the 2023 HUD dataset was called edit 2250. So we need to correct that and drop the edit there. And then these two would be the same with the starting date being 2022. So there's only 5. I looked up 3 of them and found opening dates for 3 of them. The other 2 I couldn't find. So pretty easy to find the opening dates for at least half probably of these. Not too hard with a little Google searching. May already be in our data set of crowdsourced opening dates. So we can think about that, right? Doing the same thing that I'm doing here with that crowdsourced data set that we have. So that's Santa Clara. Let's look at LA. When we take the LA HUD dataset filtered to San Jose, just have the full address and the year. Then we're going to drop, this is going to G sub everything that's after the comma. So the way the addresses are, it's the street address, comma, Los Angeles, comma, California. So everything after the first comma here will be replaced with nothing. That way we'll have the full address of just the street address. And then we'll mutate and create a HUD list 1. So when we run this, now we have 411 shelters with their addresses and just the full street address and the HUD list. So now what we want to do now is merge the LA shelters with the opening dates one with the HUD list by the street address and then see how many merge. I've already done that. And when I did that, I'll show you in a second how I do it. I sorted it by addresses. And then I noticed that some of the addresses are very close together. You can see here all the corrections that I've made. Some of the addresses have minor spelling mistakes. A lot of them have like 3501 Western Avenue in one, but Southwestern Avenue in the other one. So what I've tried to do here is to correct the ones that possibly are wrong and correct them with the ones that are the right ones from the other data set. So what I'm doing is looking at the 2 data sets together. You'll see in a second how I do this. And Google searching quickly, and La Cienega is usually written as South La Cienega when you search it on Google. And so I correct the La Cienega Boulevard to be South La Cienega Boulevard. Here, in this case, I Google searched, both, and these obviously are right next. They're the same address, basically, for all intents and purposes. For our purposes, they're the same. So when you look at it on Google, you'll see, oh, okay, 1215 is the right address for the homeless shelter. So these are all common sense corrections to make. S Vermont here obviously is just a typo, and it's South Vermont. Uh, we have Normandy Street versus Normandy Ave. So again, a quick Google search says that Avenue is the proper one. Airport Boulevard is the proper one, not Airport Drive, at least in Google Maps, right? We can never know what's the right address. So we're just trying to go with common sense. So we're going to do a whole bunch of corrections here. So let's first, oh, this is a function that does the correction. So I can apply them to both. That way they'll be consistent. So I'm going to apply this corrections function to LA shelters and to the little LA, which is the HUD data set. Probably should have called this the LA HUD, but no need to change that now. So we'll go ahead and run these corrections. And now the corrections are done. So now I can merge the 2 data sets. So I'm going to do left join and track them. And I'm going to do it 2 ways, starting with the different data sets, because what I'm going to do then is, you can see here, is I'm going to only keep the ones that aren't merging, in each one of the data sets for the LA shelter and the LA. I'll keep the ones that aren't merging, and then I'll bind them together. Um, so that way I'll have a complete list of all the addresses that haven't merged, and they'll be zero or ones according to which list they came from. So I'll let you look through this left track join and see what it does. So when we run this, we now have the list of how many aren't merged. We can see that XX1 tells us how many merged. So 65 out of the 119 do merge. So almost half of them now. We don't have to look up those half. But now we see that we have our full list remaining is we still have 426 shelters that we don't well, some of them we know we have 361. XX2 is how many from the HUD list don't merge to the LA shelters. So we have 361 shelters that we want to try and find their opening dates. The first way to do that, though, is to look at this full list of all of them and maybe sort it by the address. And then what I do is look for pairs here of one zeros where they're in close proximity because maybe then they're fairly close because it's sorting by address and then by street. So if there's minor typos, those are all the ones that I found before. So there aren't going to be too many that we're going to find now. If we look here, we have, West 61. So looking in a little range around here to see if there's, Arminta or Norris or somewhere around here, and we don't find them. Then we have here Ardmore, but I don't see any Ardmore here. Another thing we could do is like Ardmore is the street here, so I can go here and look at Ardmore. Uh, indeed, look at this. We quickly find we have an 1133 South Ardmore and an 1135 South Ardmore in one's in one list and one's in the other. So that's exactly what we should be correcting. So let's go ahead and Google search 1135 South Ardmore. So we'll go over here and so we'll look up 1135 South Ardmore. And looks like that is indeed a kind of uh, uh, 2023 construction, four-story building with uh, so that's 435. It's called looks like a nice place. So maybe 1133 is actually the homeless shelter. So 1133 though is in Oakland, not in Los Angeles. Here's 1133 South Ardmore in Los Angeles, and that's a townhouse, uh, six beds, six baths. So this could be a homeless shelter. Um, Stunning townhomes. These look like affordable housing that's not for the homeless. So here's a good one of where it's a little tricky what to do because neither one of them, they perhaps are affordable housing, but not for the homeless. But then we find Los Angeles homeless shelters, abundant blessings at 1133 South Ardmore, 32 beds for men. Right, so there we go. We found it. So it's 1133 South Ardmore should be our proper address. We don't have to do too much searching here to find it. So now we go back to our script. 1133 South Ardmore is the one that we want. So we copy this. We go back to our script. We go up here. We're going to add a correction here. We'll copy this and we'll put South 1133 is the new one that we want. It's the correct one. And then we'll go back and see what was the incorrect one. We'll go here, and the incorrect one was 1135. So then we put that in here. Got to be careful here to not make mistakes. A lot of mistakes can happen here. Um, so now we have one more, and that took about 5 minutes to find one more, but we found one more date. So that means instead of 65 that are going to match, the next time we run this, 66 will match, and we'll have one more. So if it takes 5 minutes to do a correction for one, we could think, feasibly, if there's 10 people doing this and each person does 35, so that's about 2 or 3 hours of work to, get 2 or 3 hours each to get maybe 2 or 300 of these, maybe 200 of them matched, or with dates. So if we find ones that aren't matching where we're not correcting here, but then we're looking them up, then we'd put them in that shared Google spreadsheet. But first, of course, somebody should adapt this same script to use that shared Google spreadsheet where we've already crowdsourced opening address and dates, restricted to Los Angeles. Do this same exact kind of merge here. Just copy the script and save it as a new one, and see which ones merge there. And that way we'll be making better progress. Um, so go ahead and read this. I encourage you to take a look, and maybe if you have a couple hours this weekend, you can coordinate with your fellow classmates. It's stupid to do people be doing the same thing. So send an email to people if you're going to be working on it, and have maybe do a joint Zoom session so that you're kind of all working together on the Zoom. And that way we can make some progress. Great. Hope you're having an excellent weekend, and see you Monday.